Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight we're just doing a simple repair. So Damian's dropped his computer down to me. He's just bought all the parts and put it together and he just can't get it to turn on. He can't get a display signal out of it. So I'm not sure what's wrong, if anything, but we're just going to go through the process of diagnosis. Sorry, just dropped my phone on the floor there. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to plug in the power cable. I just want to see what happens when I turn it on. Okay, so not much of anything happens from that. So we do have a post error light. Cases.
I've gotten into them before.
Yeah, I know. How does this go?
Do you have to take the other bit off?
I probably will have to take the other side off, so I'll just pop that off. No, I always get nervous with these tempered glass cases because I don't want to force anything.
Slide up or something?
No. Hang on.
Yeah. It wants to pop out.
Yeah, but I'm too nervous. This is the fun of working with heaps of different cases. Oh, see, this is just embarrassing. Get it off, Tim, one way or another.
Looks like it comes up.
That's rivets. It feels like it should pop out, but I don't like...
Can you ring the customer and ask?
There we go. It does just pop out like that, but yeah, this makes me very nervous removing these tempered glass panels. Anyway, that's probably me just being overly pedantic and stressing out a little bit too much there about breaking something. Alright. Right. Hang on, no. Whoops. We got here front panel audio, yes. Let's actually rerun these cables. Get all those off the motherboard for now. And so, where's my phone? So I think I saw the post indicator LEDs up the top here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I think I've identified our problem here straight away. We don't have any CPU power connected to this motherboard, so that is going to be a big problem. Yeah, so we've got a modular Corsair power supply here, so I don't have any spare Corsair cables. So yeah, that's not going to happen tonight. What I'll get the customer to do is I'll get him to bring me the correct cable, and I'll install that for him. So yeah, this is, you need it. Obviously we need power to our CPU. That's why I go through the boards at the start. Now up the top corner there, I talk about the CPU power. That's the first thing we get to. So that's capacity for 12 pins. You only have to plug in that 8 pin though. You don't need the other 4 pins.
Tim? Mick says, hey Tim, please. Hey Mick.
Hey Mick, how you going? This is going to be a really short one here tonight, I think, because yeah, the customer has not actually installed any CPU power, so we're not going to get very far like that. So what we're going to do,
Can you at least plug something else in?
yeah, absolutely we can. So we're going to get Windows on there. We're going to get the rest of the stuff sorted out for this customer tonight, because it's just going to be plugging in a cable. So I can still do some work, make this worthwhile. I'm going to plug in some CPU power. Ooh. What am I saying? I'm going to plug in some motherboard power. CPU power. And we're going to plug in our CPU power. I nearly said motherboard power then. Did you know that? Okay. So everything else here looks cool, right? Oh, hang on. Let's plug these cables back in the bottom. So this is nice and easy. It's got one of these front panel headers. Go on like that. We might install a post-beat speaker on there as well. Front panel audio. See, I knew this was going to be a quick repair tonight. I said to Christine, this is just going to be a quick one, I can tell. And what have we got here? USB-C. We have USB-C on this board. We do not. And only one Type 3 header. Yes. Yep, that's it. So, no Type C. Alright. Well, that's a bit of a bugger. What's our cooling like on this? Yeah, we'll be right. Okay, so yeah, like I said, what we're going to do now is we're going to power it up with this power supply because we've got all the right cables for this. So let's fire her up and turn it over. That's what we like to see. But I don't have a graphics card.
That fan isn't spinning.
Isn't it?
No. Anthony says hi, Tim.
Hey Anthony, how you going? We seem to have a post here. Yep, we've got a post. Okay, let's go into our BIOS here. So we've got here anything to adjust here. That should all be fine. Okay. So now we will install Windows. Jeez, nothing wants to come apart for me tonight. Alrighty. So yeah, this will just be a pretty straightforward Windows installation and stress test on this computer. And then all I have to do is just install that last cable. Yeah.
Scott says, hey Tim, Christine, hope you enjoyed the long weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Same to you. Yeah, it was pretty good.
A whole lot of nothing really, and a bit of clean.
Yeah,
Really.
that's pretty much it. So yeah, that'll definitely be the issue that this customer was having. Just not having that CPU cable plugged in. That'll do it every time.
Indeed.
CPU needs its own power. It can't be interrupted by other things on the motherboard that are drawing power. That's why it's a separate circuit. So, if you're wondering why it doesn't all just go through the one. Yeah, Christine's right, there's a fan that's not connected. That's another fanny it didn't plug in.
Oh, Tim?
Yeah.
Scott says that's good. I enjoyed it as much as possible as I could in hospital as I got home today. Oh, it sucks you're in hospital.
Yeah, Scott
You're right.
told me about that. It sounds painful.
Oh dear. That's not good. I hope you're on the mend.
He got his appendix out,
Oh,
and then there was basically another. You can think of it as another appendix in there that was also inflamed, that has to be removed.
Yeah, you want to get that stuff like removed before it bursts. It happened
Yeah.
to my dad while he was on ship in the Navy.
Yeah, not fun.
Flying back to the mainland. Quick smile.
All right. Alrighty, now our fans are all working.
Scott says thanks, yeah, I'm a man now, thankfully. I was in there a few days longer than was expected. That sucks.
Okay. Okay, so got all that stuff installing there. So plug in my SSD. Now custom icons down. This is going to be a gaming PC, I'm pretty sure. So we'll do a gaming setup.
Graphics card is in this one.
What's that? This is a GTX 1050 Ti in here. There it is. Knew it was there somewhere. Okay. What's going on?
Well, somebody says, want to become famous by followers and viewers. You know?
Someone else chimed in there.
Love your stuff, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, luckily for this customer, he doesn't have to take anything back or do any warranty claims or anything like that. It's just going to be a simple case of plug that CPU power in. But we can get his operating system set up and good to go. Hey Tokyo 11, good to have you with us.
Tokyo, rather.
Tokyo, sorry.
Read that wrong.
Alright, there's our graphics card drivers. MSI Afterburner. These are installing. Most people like to have Office on their computer.
how you too.
Hey Nick, how you going?
Hey Nick. He says, how are you guys? Not bad.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Hope you had a good long weekend.
Yeah, it was nice. I've had a lot of long weekends, like in a row and stuff recently. It's been pretty good. Okay.
Makes sense, yeah, the long weekends were alright. The first one I went camping for, the second one I just slept in and waiting to hear back from the job, so the long weekend just made me nervous and sick waiting.
Yeah. Yep. I can imagine.
Good luck, I hope you hear back and I hope it's good news.
Yep.
So what's wrong with Damian's PC?
Oh, nothing. He just forgot to plug in the CPU power cable. That was all. Rookie mistake. No big deal. And so yeah, we're just gonna get the Windows operating system installed for him. So our 1050 Ti. Nearly got our updates done. Tidy up this desktop a bit. Yep, it always takes a little while. Jumped up to 73 now. Yeah, set the time. There's no other drives installed here.
It says 1050 Ti used to be pretty proud back in the days.
Yeah. Well, it's made a comeback, given the situation. All right. I'm just gonna. It's not gonna make much difference whether we're sitting on the desktop doing nothing or looking at this screen and doing nothing. It doesn't really change the equation much.
It says if you wanted to game and not worry about cranking everything to max settings.
Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, 1050 Ti, like, once we restart, I'll just show everyone who's not familiar with the card how it runs, like, in heaven and stuff.
Ashley says, I keep forgetting to watch Mr. Nightmare. You gotta watch it.
Yes, yeah,
So
definitely, yeah, definitely. You can waste definitely like probably 12 to 24 hours of your life on that channel. Yeah, it's good fun. Like, some of the stories you can tell are just bullshit, like they're just been made up, but yeah, some of them were right. So as soon as it stops saying restarting, that's when it's actually finished downloading and it's installing. Alrighty, while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna
Scare the shit out of Christine, that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
mixers. I'm currently on the lookout for a 1080 Ti that doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Oh yeah, is that an NZXT case?
Yeah, it's a H510, I think it is. I can't see any model number on it. There we go for time. Yeah, doing pretty good. So I'm not sure if Armory Crate installed properly, so might still have to do that, but this should be the bulk of it. Okay. Get our cumulative updates. Alright.
Actually, since I saw it, so NZXT case is quite popular. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. Personally, they do absolutely nothing for me. I'd much personally prefer the Corsair 4000X for a mid-tower case. But case choice is very personal, so you should do what's right for you. So that just like didn't even open Armory Crate. It's such buggy software. It really is. Yeah, so now I'm just going to have to go to the website and download it. Because it's probably... the version that was on the motherboard is probably old and it's probably got problems. And might not even work properly anymore. Yeah.
This is I like my Cougar Dark Blue case. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, luckily there's a huge amount of case choice these days.
There's so many different shapes, sizes. Yeah, it's good. I like that there's more variety these days. Instead of, you know, beige case or a black case.
Okay, so it's screwing up completely here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this PC, uninstall change programs. So we're going to get rid of all of this ASUS stuff.
Too many spaceship looking cases, Nick says. Well, some of them look actually pretty cool in my opinion. I saw a cool looking white one recently. That one was cool. And a pink one. Go the pink cases. I just saw my first pink motherboard today. Was that a custom motherboard or something? Or like, where do you get the pink ones from?
I think it's been customized.
Was it pink B450M motherboard?
Steel Legend, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still not wanting to load. Let's restart. Okay, let's go back to downloads. Okay, so sometimes if you're having problems with this app, just install Armory Crate. Don't install Armory Crate and Aura Creator. You can install Aura Creator later. Okay, so get the rest of those systems updated, all those Microsoft apps as well, just to be thorough. Get Armory Crate installed.
Did you hear the doggos?
Yeah. We've got siren doggos. Whenever there's a siren, they start like howling.
Nick says, I don't have a spaceship in case. He says, is this build supposed to have RGB? Just on the motherboard.
Yeah, just on the motherboard. There's no other RGB components here. The memory doesn't have RGB. The fans don't have RGB. Just a little bit on the motherboard.
Christian says, hey Tim, Windows 10 Home is 160 on M-Wave. Is there a way to get it cheaper?
Yeah, send me a message.
Ashley says the best way to buy GTX 1080 Ti is through eBay, but I wouldn't because there's a lot of videos out there. The guy bought a GTX 1080 Ti, it wasn't working, dig deep into the card and found out it was a GT 710 with 2 GB. Ew.
Yeah, people will do all sorts of things. They'll actually change the GPU.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So the card will look right, but the GPU on the card will be different. You just got to be careful. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You got to make sure. Okay, we'll get our motherboard and chipset drivers installed. So yeah, here's our Ryzen 3600X.
Christian says, I'm building my first gaming PC soon. What tips do you have?
Be thorough. Consider what you're doing before you do it. Mount as much stuff to the motherboard before you put it in the case. You can't put your graphics card on the motherboard before you put it in the case. Don't forget to plug in your CPU power cable. Oh, don't worry, I've done it before.
He says my tip would be send it to Tim if you have any doubts.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're doing it for the first time, yeah, you could end up spending a lot of hours on it. Because it's not that it's like overly hard to build a PC. It's just that there are a lot of little things that can go wrong, and if you're not familiar with what they are, obviously it's going to take you a lot of time and a lot of heartache trying to work it out. So watch some of my videos, and the order in which I do things isn't just random. I do it in that order for a reason.
So GPU would be too heavy, makes sense.
What's that?
GPU would be too heavy, makes sense.
The GPU would be too heavy. Yeah, so people talk about, the graphics card being too heavy, and they see that it sags and stuff. It's not the actual card that's bending, it's just that metal bracket at the back. So you can just bend it back in shape, and you can even bend it a bit up so that over time it just sits back down normally. So
Makes sense. Don't forget to take the plastic seal off the cooling clock and go with the water cooler.
yeah, definitely do that.
And also, if you're putting an M2 drive in, check the
Yep.
plastic.
Okay, well we can't, like, this bench isn't accurate because we're doing stuff in the background, so it's not going to show this chip's true capacity. But what we will be able to do give it a run through.
Ooh. Ashley says, and don't turn on your power supply on and change everything, because I blew up a cheap one and tripped the whole power in the building.
Ah, shit. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Oh, I haven't set up Reaver Tuner, so no one can even see what's going on unless they get right up. Oh no, well they won't be able to see it because the stats are in the top right hand corner of the screen. How are we going for time? I'm just watching the clock because I'm this isn't a PC build of mine, so this is something where like I'm on the clock. So I don't want to waste too much time. I want to be thorough and do the job right, but at the same time, don't want to fuck around too much.
So it's also don't put a 12 volt in and a 5 volt.
Yeah, yes, Nick. Yeah. 12 volt and 5 volt. Yeah. You can give a 12 volt header 5 volts of juice. That's fine. That won't do anything. But just don't give the 5 volt header 12 volts. You have a bad time.
Christian says if lightning hits your house, can it damage your whole PC or just power supply?
It can potentially damage your whole PC. It depends how good your power supply is, and it depends where it fails. So
I'd have it on one of those surge protector boards.
yeah, every bit of electronic equipment in your house should be on a surge protector board as at a minimum. Trust me, if you have a power surge and you lose stuff, you will only make that mistake once. And sometimes it can be a $15,000 mistake. So oh, we've got a reboot. Just get an update for
It says I usually turn my PC off around electrical storms anyway, power surge protector or not.
yeah.
Fuck that, I ain't got the funds for a replacement.
Yep.
It says
The best thing to do is have a UPS. That's the gold standard.
Christian says lightning made my Ethernet cable stop working. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, well, that's once again power surge. It can go up the it can go through the internet as well, potentially. Depends where it hits and where the surge comes from. Obviously, power surges are more common when lightning makes contact to overhead power lines and affects the AC going into houses. But it potentially electricity could find its way onto another type of cabling, whether it's telephone. You would probably, if you're old enough from the era where we had wall phones and house phones and stuff, you used to say, oh, it's a thunderstorm, you got to get off the phone, because potentially that line could get contacted by electricity and you could get electrocuted while you're on the phone. So yeah, that's, they've made things a lot safer now. Alright, so that should be all good to go. Get this. Oh, fuck's sake.
What'd you do?
Oh, what? Oh, it's because freaking MSI Afterburner's open, so it keeps. I wish this setup would just be like, okay, we're closing the apps now, but no, it has to be complicated.
Actually says we're going to mobile phones.
Yep. Okay, that's done. restart, and then we should have everything all good to go with this computer. We just got 2 power cables to plug in.
Question says, thanks for answering my questions, Tim. I'll send you a message about Windows 10 later.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
There we go, there's our 3600X CPU. We'll do a quick run through on Heaven at the basic settings. See, I don't get to hear the music. The music in this is cool. We just hear the fans. It's just a quirk of my pass-through card. It doesn't like passing through the audio to the screen that I've got. No matter what settings I adjust, it just doesn't like it. No, it's just that I'm being. This isn't one of my builds, so this is a per hour job. So I don't want to just waste 2 minutes over. That's okay. No, we're fine. I just don't have. I don't have hours to spend. Why is this like not cooperating with me? What's that? No, so what is the actual time? 20 to 8. I got a laptop to fix, but I need a I need to get another CPU fan for it. So I might actually have to harvest one from another laptop. So I might go and try and harvest the right fan first before I go and do a video on what I'm doing. Because if not, you get to watch Tim fuck around for like an hour trying to get the right fan from old parts. Well, I don't know. This is run through, hasn't it?
Yeah,
No, I usually don't.
that sounds alright.
Yeah.
Go find some laptops. Do you want me to go down and find some laptops for you?
Okay. So there is one PC ready to go.
I'm hungry and I can smell mum cutting onions. The smell makes me hungry. I love the smell of onions being cut up.
Alrighty.
Ashley says I pulled an old laptop apart at work and it was pissing me off. I really wanted to throw it. And it says I don't know who was up to about Windows 10 Home, but Windows 10 Pro is better looking. You might, for sure. I don't think I've ever used Windows Pro. Windows 10 Pro. You're really struggling with that, aren't you?
Alright, so all we have to do is plug in that CPU power and we have a functional computer here. Windows installed, all ready to go. We've got one of these ASUS Wi-Fi antennas, but we don't have the base for it. Oh well.
Nick says ages ago before I met Tim, I pulled my laptop apart to clean the dust out of it and broke the shipping cable. I got it fixed and it cost me like $200.
Oh, really?
Ouch.
Oh, no. Okay.
The guy that looked at it said some keys don't work anymore.
Oh God. Fun.
Ashley says here laptops are worse than pulling consoles
Take off
apart. Or you kill yourself with it.
No, see, it comes it pulls out, so I can't trip over it. If I go to walk away, the banana. That's how it's designed. It's designed because if it was hard chained, you'd have people walking along and falling over and smacking themselves after sitting there for 4 hours doing something. Now is just give him a call, let him know what happened with it, and let him know what all he has to do to fix it. And at least I've got the Windows operating system and some game clients and stuff installed for him, so he doesn't have to worry about any of that driver stuff. I got all that installed, got some extra apps in there installed for him. So I think realistically, should be pretty happy with the result. All he needs to do is enter his Windows product key. That's it. Other than that, it's all good.
It says they work, but they are just real stiff. One of these days I'll take it to Tim and let him look at it. Let me get rich again first.
Yeah, it's probably, it could be anything. The keys, sometimes the keys can get like stuck. There's usually like a membrane switch, but yeah, sometimes things can break. Sometimes if something else hasn't been put back together as well in a laptop, sometimes there are other screws and bits of plastic that have got to go together quite tight, and if not, there's extra pressure on certain parts of the keyboard, and that can cause the keys to not work. So there's a few things. The fact that it's been taken apart is always always cause for concern. When amateurs take things apart, they typically don't take them apart like with a mental plan in place. Okay, so I've got 8 bolts around here. I'm going to put those screws over there, and then this bit here, I've got this and this and this. I'm going to put that stuff there. People just start pulling stuff apart, and then they don't know what goes where and all that. There's no structure to it. And as soon as people start pulling things apart, people make mistakes like that. There'll be one little bolt, one little clip that had to be pressed down, or something like that. And because you didn't do that, you got everything else back right, and it seems right. Nothing seems to be sticking out. But then you go to type, and certain keys or whatever, a part of the keyboard won't work properly, or yeah, all sorts of things. And the thing is, with laptops, they're all random designs. Every engineer who comes up with a laptop almost starts from scratch, because the amount of heat that the CPU and the GPU in the laptop, that'll vary between models. So they can't just go, oh yeah, here's our laptop case, and we just put all different CPUs in there and it's going to be sweet. It's a bit more hardcore on the engineering side, and that's why laptops aren't as serviceable as PCs. PC and replace it pretty much, other than components of the motherboard. But for a laptop, even the CPU and the graphics card, or the GPU, is soldered to the board, and you don't want to desolder stuff like that. It's going to be a big problem. It's going to get messy. So that's why, in general, no one will do CPU or GPU updates on a laptop. RAM, hard drive, Wi-Fi cards, yep, no worries. Batteries, yep, no worries. Ethernet, yep, no worries. These are upgrades that you can do to a laptop, whereas changing the motherboard or changing the CPU or changing the GPU, these things are significantly harder to get done. And I would say, if you found someone who was that good at working with electrical parts and desoldering and all that, I would suggest that you'll pay him more than what you'll pay just to go buy a new laptop to get it done properly. So it's probably not worth it. Anyway, that'll be it for tonight. Like I said, I'm going to find another fan for that. Sold it, and customer wants it towards the end of the week. So we'll get that one sorted. I'll probably do that one tomorrow in the day, and then hopefully I'm waiting on parts. I've got PC builds to do. Just waiting on parts to arrive in the mail. So a couple of ones coming up. Got an all black PC, so it's like the opposite of the white Lian Li case with all the rainbow fans and stuff like that. This is the opposite of that. This is all black. So that'll be a good one. And then there'll be some more obviously coming up. There's a lot of people who are talking to me for quotes right now and all that. Unfortunately, right now it's sort of like, it's not a good time. No one wants to spend a lot of money right now. It's right before tax time. It's right before end of financial year. But things will pick up.
Use your ceiling fan.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's it. I mean, realistically, you could probably just put into the case, and it would probably cool the CPU adequately for its purposes. But we will actually replace the fan inside it. Because once again, the fan is generally something that's really easy to upgrade. There's a little clip. It's usually a little 2-pin connector for them. Then you just pull that out, put the new one in, a couple of bolts, done. So it's those sort of issues, these are the things that's fixable on laptops, obviously. You can do screens as well, but screen repair will cost a lot more because that's the labour involved, the cost of the part, blah, 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 blah. And there are so many people all the time wanting price on getting a laptop screen repaired, and yeah, it's everyone thinks they can get it done really, really cheap, but they sort of forget the amount of work that's involved with them and getting the parts and all that kind of thing. So in general, like, you can get that done, but if your laptop's like worth under $500, it's probably not worth spending putting that money towards a new laptop. So it's the same with, it's just like cars, like, you know, certain cars, it's not worth fixing them. I'm in a group, right? It's called My Holden Captiva is Crap, and just for the record, I've never bought or owned a Holden vehicle, let alone a Cruise or Captiva. But Captivas are one of the worst cars that you can own in terms of reliability and stuff like that. Anyway, there was a guy in the group. He was asking the group a question, and he asked, "Oh, is this a good price for this major work on my Captiva?" I think he was quoted like 4 or 5 grand for something major. He's like, "Is this a good price for it?" And I said to him, I'm like, "Mate, no. That your Captiva is worth $500 to $1,000, mate. It doesn't matter whether you spend $4,000 on it. It doesn't become $5,500 worth of car. It's still a Captiva. It's still bought and sold in the open market, and people will only pay Captiva money for it. They don't care if there's a receipt. No one cares. They can get one that's fine as well for $500. So you never pour money into old things like that. It just doesn't make any sense. It's just money straight down the drain. So quite like the Captiva, if you've got an old laptop with a broken screen, it's probably not worth fixing. So yeah.
I wouldn't even bother.
No.
The laptop screen repair.
Nah.
Just look for a HDMI cable.
That's generally what I advise a lot of people when they come to me. I'm like, okay, I can repair it for you, but you know that's going to cost like, you know, between $300 and $500 depending on how expensive the screen is. So yeah.
Says doing stuff yourself is normally a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah, it's way cheaper, but yeah. Yeah, laptops are bit harder to work on than desktops, put it that way. There's a lot more little fiddly parts, little ribbon cables, little clips that hold them in place, and yeah, it's good fun.
Nick says 300 to 500 on a laptop screen or HDMI cable for $5 to $10.
Yep.
Easy fix.
Yep. But the thing is, some people need their laptop for the mobility of it. So for those people, the HDMI isn't a solution. So it makes sense for some people, but if your laptop's only worth $300, it's not worth spending $300 fixing it. You just put that $300 towards a new one. Sell your old one for $50. Anyway, I think that'll leave. Let's start that one again. I think we'll leave that here for tonight. Got this PC fixed. I've got to do a couple more quotes for people. So I'll catch you all tomorrow and we'll tackle this laptop.